God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for these people. I thank you that we're able to come here and able to say, speak what's true to us. Let your presence be here with us. Let us know that we've been in your presence. I'm thankful that there are people in this room who I know are always seeking you. They're always trying to give you their best. They're always trying to put you first. They're trying to not only sing the songs, but mean them on a deep level. And I thank you for that. I ask that your presence be here now. Let your spirit come. We welcome you. And let every heart find something that they need here today. In your name we pray. Amen. So last week, we talked about Elijah and Elisha. We're still with Elisha. Last week I said some things right there at the end, really quickly. I was just going through stuff. And I said, y'all, we have to be all in. And we're going to have to be all in a lot sooner than we think. I said I knew what Thrive was called to do and called to be. But then I didn't share that with you. There are all in moments. How many of you are history buffs? You like the history. Okay, this one's for you. There was this dude named Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was known for conquering and building his empire. His empire was huge. There was one other king, and that king resisted Alexander the Great at every turn. Persia. Alexander the Great's like, we're going to get Persia. And Persia's like, no, you ain't. I'm not giving up an inch of this. Alexander the Great, he can't hear that. He tells the soldiers, we're going to Persia. And the soldiers were like, why are we going there? Get on the boat. So they get on the boat and they go to Persia. When they land in Persia, what happens? Alexander the Great jumps off the boat. All the men jump off the boat. Alexander the Great looks at the men and says, now, burn the ships. Whoa, wait, what? Burn them? That's the way home. What you talking about, burn the ships? Alexander the Great knew if he removed their ability to run backwards, they would run forwards. It was the all-in moment. The ships had to burn. If they were going to get home, they were getting home in Persian ships. He actually told them that. We die here, or we go home in Persian ships. But you're burning these. That was all in. We have all in moments. Moments that change everything. That's a cool one. Even if you don't really like the whole military stuff, that's still kind of a cool story. But there's another place that's an all-in moment. 2 Kings chapter 3, verses 9 through 17. This is a story about Elisha and 3 kings. So Israel was divided into 2 groups. There was the north and the south. So there was Israel and there was Judah. And each one of them had a king. So the king of Israel gets mad at the king of Moab. You're not paying me what you owe me. I'm going to have to fight you. But the king of Israel's like, I ain't going in there alone. I ain't stupid. So he goes and knocks on Judah. Hey, you'll come help me fight these folks? King of Judah's like, well, all right, I can do that. How are we going to get there? Oh, we're going to go through Edom. So we're going to get the king of Edom to help too. So we have these 3 kings. And starting in verse 9, the king of Judah says to the king of Israel, I'm with you all the way. My troops are your troops. My horses are your horses. Let's go. How will we get there? Through the badlands of Edom. The king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom started out on what proved to be a looping detour. See a theme in the Bible about these circles, people walking in circles all the time? A looping detour. After 7 days, they had run out of water for both the army and the animals. The king of Israel said, bad news. God has gotten us 3 kings out here to dump us into the hand of the king of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, isn't there a prophet of God anywhere through whom we can consult God? Now get this part. They already gone. They already there. Oh, and now let's talk to the prophet. Well, why didn't you consult God before you ever left home and got out here in the first place? I took my own detour right there for a second. So one of the servants of the king of Israel said, yes, Elisha is here somewhere. The one who was Elijah's right-hand man. So Jehoshaphat said, good, that's a man we can trust. So they bring Elisha forward. And Elisha looks at the king of Israel. What do you and I have in common? Go consult the puppet prophets of your father and mother. Never, said the king of Israel. It's God who got us into this, dumping all 3 of us kings into the hand of Moab. Elisha said, as God of the angel armies lives, and before whom I stand ready to serve, if it were not for the respect that I have for Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, I wouldn't give you the time of day. But considering, bring me a harpist. Because when a harpist played, the power of God came on Elisha. He then said, this is God's word. Dig ditches all over this valley. Here's what will happen. You won't hear the wind. You won't see the rain. But this valley is going to fill up with water, and your army and your animals will drink their fill. This is easy for God to do. Easy for God to do. Okay, y'all. There ain't no water. They're in a desert. Dig ditches, and then they'll fill up with water. If you're there with them, how many of you going to be like, okay, I'm going to dig a ditch now? Or how many of y'all going to be like, what is man smoking and why he ain't sharing with everybody? Because that's craziness. Dig ditches in the desert, and they'll fill up with water, and you won't see the wind, you won't see the rain, but it'll happen. No, Elisha, come on now. Can't be true. But what did we learn about Elisha last week? Elisha knew. Elisha knew who he was called to be. He knew what he was called to do. And so when God told Elisha to do this, Elisha said, okay. Another interesting thing with Elisha did not like that king of Israel. And he's like, I ain't going to do this for you. I'm going to do this for the king of Judah, who I respect. We get in desert places. And a lot of times we get there for the very same reason these people got there. We go before we ask God. We go before we consult God. We go and do stupid things before we talk to God. And we think that we don't talk to God about everything. So it could be little things like, I'm going to go spend $200 on junk. I don't got to talk to God about that, right? Because that's just money. It's just finances. That's something little. God don't care about the little stuff, right? I can go do that. Wrong. Because what happens? Then you go and do it. You didn't ask God. You didn't talk it over with God. You didn't make your finances a part of the realm of God. You go and do your thing. Then what happens? A couple weeks later, you need that $200 because, I don't know, you get laid off work. You can't get no hours. You sitting at home going, how am I going to pay my bills? I done spent that $200. Now I ain't got no money in the bank. What am I going to do? Well, did you talk to God before? No. But now that I'm in the midst of it, I'm going to talk to God. God, what we going to do? How are we going to get me out of this? And then the answer, almost always, is an answer we don't want to hear. Dig ditches. Work. I need you to do this. I need you to make this happen. Yeah, my spirit will move, but you got to do your part. So am I talking for real digging ditches? No. What got you there? You blew $200 you shouldn't have blown. Because you didn't talk to God first. You went off and said finances are in your world, not in the spiritual world, so you don't have to consult with God about them. You got yourself in a mess, and when you got in a mess, what'd you do? Oh, God, come help me. God can help, but you're going to dig some ditches. Not literally. But you're going to have to start. Okay, God, I hear you. I'll put my $5 in the bank. I'll put another $5 in the church plate. It'll be okay. I hear you, God. I can trust you, God. What other areas do we not like to talk to God before we do it? I got one right here and that's right here. You want to hear it? I'm going to get a new relationship or pick up an old one, whichever. I'm going to go do that. I ain't going to talk to God about it first. Because God don't care about that. That's this world stuff. That ain't spiritual stuff. That's relationship stuff. That's me and a partner and, some bow and all that. Well, God don't care about that. I ain't got to talk to God about that. Then what happens? Well, if your name's Christy, you get off in a ditch that you didn't dig. Well, you did, but not. It's complicated. And you end up over here going, oh my God, I've made this huge mess. And the decisions that end up having to happen and the path that you end up having to walk so that you can get back to where you're supposed to be because you didn't talk to God before you did it. Now you're over here in the mess and you're talking to God and you got to work your way back. Hearts break. People lose their trust. You end up someone that people look at and think, well, that girl mean God can use her. I know what she did. I know her path. I know the trajectory. I know how many exes there were. I know when she got them, how she got them, how she dumped them. I know it all. Do you? Did I talk to you about it? Because I didn't talk to God about it, so did I talk to you about it? Bet you $10 I didn't. We like to think we know best. And that's what these kings were doing. The king of Judah, the king of Israel thought he knew. We're going to go, we're going to do this, it'll be fine, I don't have to consult God. And he runs right into it. And then tragedy. We run right into things. And then tragedy. Oh, I'm going to change jobs. But I ain't got to talk to God about that because, again, that's finances. What does God care about that? As long as I show up on Sundays, we're good. Then you get over there in the new job. God, you got to help me out of this. And then God's like, well, dang, did I help you into it? Because you didn't talk to me about it. How many of you are in relationships? This one ain't raising her hand, but she is in one. And then how many of you have relationships because you have children, you have family, whatever. Everybody has this stuff. You have a child, so your hand should be up. So in relationships, what happens? If you don't communicate, train wreck. If you don't say, hey, we have joint finances, maybe, if you do, and we have this thing coming up and we need to be prepared for it. If we don't have that conversation, and then the bill comes due, but somebody else done went and spent all the money, tragedy, because you're not communicating. It's the same way. If you're not communicating with God, if you're not seeking God, you're going to end up in a mess. You're going to hit tragedy. You're going to hit a spot where you go, why do I keep landing here? Why do I keep getting hurt? Why do I keep feeling broken? All right, you asked the question. You want the bad answer? Talk to God first. Why don't you quit moving and doing all the little things you want to do before you consult God? And we're better off than the kings. We ain't got to go get no prophet.
Amen.
We ain't got to go get Marcy, Travis, or me to pray. We can go, yo, God,
Amen.
I'm in a mess. Can you help a girl out? Don't be mad when God asks you, how'd you get there? Don't be mad when God says, yes, we can get out of this, but there's work to be done. And then when God reveals the work that has to be done, like, I don't know, writing apology letters or $5 a week into this account, $5 a week into the plate, whatever your situation, as God starts telling you what it is you're supposed to do and you're open to that and you start following it, you don't see the wind, you don't see the rain, but your ditches are beginning to fill up with water. So being all in for our purposes, it means this. We're committed. whatever it takes to be seekers. That's where we're going, and that's what we're doing. Another interesting thing in this story, what does Elisha tell them? I'm going to do this, but not because I like you. I'm going to do it because I like her. Sometimes your blessing comes in the form of another person. It's because they've been faithful. It's because they've stayed prayed up. They've stayed asking God, what's next? How do we do it? How do we get there? What you going to do about Christy? Are you going to put duct tape on her mouth? What's going to happen? They've stayed where they need to be. And it's because of them that God shows up for you sometimes. Because sometimes, if we're honest, we get so far over here doing our own thing without asking God what we're supposed to be doing, just doing what we want because it feels good. We're over here, and we don't want nothing to do with it. We're not going to talk to God. So it takes all the other people. God, what are we going to do about that? How do we help them? How do we reach them? How do we bring them out of the funk that they got themselves in because they chose to walk away from you and put their own selfish crap first? And then because of the faithfulness of a few, you find yourself rescued. That's happened to me more than one time. Thank God for a praying granny. So because of the other person, Elisha's like, okay, I'll help. And then Elisha says, bring me a harpist. Now we're going to detour just for a second because I got to come at y'all a bit. A lot of y'all like to think music is something y'all just got to suffer through to get through church. Music is a way the Spirit of God moves and communicates. So if you in here going, we just got to make it through this crap so we can get to the sermon, so we can get to the dinner. You're missing it, boo. Music is a way that the Spirit moves. It's a way that the Spirit communicates. Every song today was about seeking. Every song today was about being all in. Here I am, all of me. Take it. Use it. Speak what's true. Every song. But only the people that were viewing that the right way got it. Some of you was still, she just repeated that song. That's another 3 minutes. We ain't never getting out of here. We want God to show up, but we don't want to do the things that we're required to do. So last week, all in, and what is Thrive called to do? Any clues? It's not going to be earth-shattering. It might even disappoint you. Seriously, it might. Thrive is called to do the basics. We're not called to be a mega church. I'm not Joel Osteen or Joyce Meyer. I'm Christy. And together we're Thrive. What are we called to do? What is our purpose? There are 3 things that we're called to do. And I know this because I talked to God about it. Number 1 is seeking. Now this messes with people because we don't understand what it means to seek. We think it means we just go, hey God, can I get $100? Kind of like talking to mom and dad for allowance. Hey God, can you make it so that, my bank account ain't so ugly no more? We'll go dig some ditches. Maybe literally to help your bank account. Seeking means the first thing we're doing, the first thing we're about is holy. Before we move, before we speak, before we do. God, are you in this? Are you here? Because if you're not here, and this isn't where you want me to be, I don't need to be here either. Wherever you are is where I need to be. It's about being in the presence of God. And then it's also about living in a way that it shows that you are a true seeker. Some of y'all done took off and y'all in Harry Potter land. Come back. I'm talking about seeking holy. It's different. So I wrote them down on an envelope. The main thing about seeking is knowing God. And I'm talking about in a way that we're not usually comfortable with here in America. See, here we've made it pretty. You show up on Sunday mornings, there's a couple songs, a preacher preaches, and you go home, and that's it. That's your holy moment. And that's supposed to last you until the next one. And in some places, that'll be on Wednesday night, and in other places, that's the following Sunday. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about routine. I'm not talking about a coordinated thing. I'm talking about knowing God in a way that is very, very real. You don't have to rely on stories you've heard your daddy tell you. I don't have to rely on stories my granny has told me. I'm going to know God for myself. Amen. We're going to know God for ourselves. That's what Thrive is called to do. It's one of the things we're called to be about. The second thing is the thing that y'all are so tired of hearing. Loving. Loving one another. Loving ourselves. And always God first. The third thing we're called to do is to be in healthy relationships. Healthy relationships with one another and healthy relationships with holy. Those are the basics that Thrive is called to. And why does it matter? Because there are a lot of churches here in town where nobody's being told this. We have people still being told, God can't love you. You're sinful. You can have no part of God. We have people being told, oh, well, you know, as long as you show up on Sunday and you put a check in the plate, you're good. No, you're not. It's more than finances. It's more than meeting places. It's about letting God and God's love wreck us to the point where it's all we know. It's all we know how to do. It's the only way we know how to move. So we're digging ditches. And we're saying, okay, fill them up. And we're at a point where we start digging ditches before God's even told us because we know we got to work. So we're going to dig this ditch. And as we dig this ditch, we're going to be mad probably at first because it's going to hurt some backs. Then we're going to keep going. And we're going to go, watch out, because we ain't going to see it coming. But these are fixing to be full, and we can go swimming in them. Amen. That's how it works. God shows up. The Spirit of God starts moving. You don't know where it came from. You don't know how it did it. But suddenly, it's a whoosh, and you're going, I'm in the presence of God, and I'm never going to be the same again. If you walk out of here the same every week, you ain't digging. You ain't digging. Because I'm here to tell you, God shows up here. Not everybody knows it. If you leave here and you ain't felt nothing and you still the same, you ain't digging. Go get a shovel. How do you dig? You pray. And you say, okay, God, it's been superficial. I've shown up on Sundays, said all the right things, but I get it. I really have to mean it when I say, here's my life. It has to mean my finances. It has to mean my relationships, the big ones, the friendships, the family ships, all of my relationships. It has to mean everything. It has to mean that I don't move without knowing you've said move. That's what it means to be all in. We're at our all-in moment. Some of you are at your personal all-in moment. You've played with God a bit. Yeah, God, you're cool. Thanks for your blessings. What you mean you want me to give that up? Hold up, God, that ain't your area. Mm-hmm. You stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane. That ain't in there. It says, seek and you will find. Dig the ditch, and it fills up with water. Because the Spirit of God shows up. There's work to be done. And if you're going to be all in, you have to really be all in. And you have to mean it. When you say, here's my life, speak what's true. And then when the truth gets spoken, don't get your panties in a bunch because it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Just say, well, God, I didn't see that coming, but okay, if that's where you want to go, then we'll go. You can stay where you are. You can leave the ships so that you have a getaway plan. But if you do that, you are never going to know who God is in the way you need to know who God is so that you can live into your calling. Burn the ships. And all the people said,